Welcome to Fandoms, a show from every fan's point of view.
And as Mickey said in that really quick introduction, welcome to Fandoms. Again, we are Sans Michael, and joining me today is my good friend Will. Will, how are you doing?
I am unhappy with 2024. It came at me with violence, and I do not want this year at all. Thank you.
You've got is it something you know when you say something like that, you're asking for me to ask the question. So
Yes,
Will,
that's exactly what you.
what
Yes.
happened? What attacked you?
Actually, it was my own body. First of all, I do not like New Year's Eve. Okay, as in general, I have 3 dogs. They're very sensitive. 2 of them are very sensitive to sound, and one of them is just a mouthy corgi. And so people were celebrating New Year's with explosives up until like 2:30. So the dogs were up till 2:30. But at 7 a.m., I decided, no, I'm going to start 2024 right. We're going to get Benjamin, my corgi's harness on him, and we're going to go for a walk. And this is going to be the year of getting healthy again, right? And I did a 3-mile walk, and the last quarter of a mile, I started to get a pain in my heel. And it turns out, for some reason, during that walk, I got full-blown plantar fasciitis, and so now I'm trying to recover from that. I can only wear 1 pair of shoes right now. I've already tried an orthopedic pair of shoes, and now I'm going to be trying a brace. And every once in a while, I'm rubbing my foot on a frozen water bottle. It ain't cool, man. It ain't cool.
I was going to say that. I don't know why, and I'm not saying that you resemble a lunch lady in any way, but when you said that, my first thought was Adam Sandler's Lunch Lady Land. We're talking about the brown orthopedic shoes. But yeah, I digress.
You want to see them? I got them right here. They're not pretty at all.
I don't really want to listen. I can't say it's I can say I would probably say with the weather, migraines have been a thing. You know, getting old stinks. It really stinks.
Yes, it does.
But we're gonna blaze past. It's a new year. It can start badly, but it can end really well.
It damn well better.
What's that?
I said it damn well better. Because I don't want to start off the year wearing these. There's no Spider-Man or Venom on these.
Those actually don't look bad. Why are you complaining about those shoes?
Look at the sole on this thing.
Listen, it doesn't look that bad. It does not look that bad at all.
Oh, yeah? Yeah? How about going to bed every night in one of these? Huh? This is great to sleep in.
Okay, listen.
Look, man.
I have a CPAP. So
I do too.
I would rather wear that than have that on my face. But you know,
and the whole reason why I got out and started walking, I'm sure if I were to show you, you could still see the CPAP strap marks on my face right now. I wish I could grow a
shower after you hydrate
like
your skin, the marks go away.
I hydrate. What are you saying?
Drink water.
Are you claiming I'm unclean? Drink. Look, I got my Stanley right here. I'm all trendy with my Stanley.
But it's not pink.
Nor should it be.
Yeah. So yes, welcome to Fandoms. We are starting a new year, 2024. And this evening, since it's the first episode of the year, and I've kind of been toying, we've got some guests that I'm kind of trying to woo to get on the show. Not that woo, but to definitely like I guess you could say court to be on the show, to have some fun. I think there are some people that I've been in talks with that we'll have down the road. With Mike Brighty as last show. That was a lot of fun. And we've got some stuff going down the road, maybe some TikTokers. But tonight, I want to try something that I come up with, and Will was game for it, was already talking smack while we were preparing. I don't know if that's why we don't have other people participating, because he was talking them like in the midst. But a huge shout out to Samosas and Popcorn Pooja for picking the name of the Cinema Smackdown, and you can see that in the upper right hand corner of the screen. It's a lot of fun. It's going to be a lot of fun, and we're going to see in tonight's topic is what is the best movie with the worst adaptation from a book. And there's a number of things to go from. But before we do that, being a new year and there's been a lot of things going, we don't have a Pooja's Pick segment. We don't have a Fandoms U segment. We're going to be having those coming in the next couple weeks.
Just a grumpy old man.
What's that?
Just a grumpy old man. That's what you've got.
And will. And so I decided to do something. I was playing around, getting ready for the show, and I found this, and I want to make it a whole new segment because by all means, we are living in a time where AI wants to take over and people want to use AI for everything. I can't open Photoshop without it wanting me to use AI generative like text descriptions for adding images to pictures, which is its own thing and will probably be one of the segments in the future. But if you don't know CapCut, if you have CapCut Pro, there is actually a function now where you can tell a very small amount of information, and not only will CapCut's AI create a script for you, it will then produce a video from that script with nothing but what's available on CapCut. And so I want to name this segment specifically. Let's go ahead and bring up the cue card. The first of many reasons AI won't take our jobs. And this is specifically for us as streamers. And so let's just let it roll. AI is going to tell us a little bit about Marvel movies. So AI, take it away.
To our discussion on Marvel's Cinematic Universe, a groundbreaking multimedia project that has captivated fans worldwide. This expansive universe brings together a diverse cast of superheroes and villains, each with their own unique abilities and storylines. One of the most epic battles in the MCU is undoubtedly the climactic showdown between Spider-Man and Daredevil in the Avengers. These two heroes, longtime allies, must join forces to face off against the sinister Wilson Fisk and his Hydra organization. But the MCU doesn't stop there. Infinity War and Endgame present a thrilling interconnected storyline that keeps viewers on the edge of their seats. These films also explore the consequences of the villainous Thanos' actions, with epic battles between the forces of good and evil that leave a lasting impact on the universe. The MCU's dedication to high-octane action and intricate storytelling has earned it a reputation as one of the best video game adaptations, with titles like Spider-Man, Far From Home, and Avengers Endgame garnering rave reviews from critics and fans alike.
That was so bad it may be bordering on good.
I don't know.
What?
Listen,
first of all, when did Daredevil fight Spider-Man in the Avengers, and what does that have to do with this woman finding out she's pregnant?
I'm sorry. And then the guy who they put up there for Wilson. I mean, at least they got the bald thing right. I'm telling you right now.
Oh man,
this is the peak of AI. We don't need anything more from anything. Sir. Now here's the thing. There is a multiverse where this is. I'm good. I'm sorry.
Okay. Well, so first of all, you have to tell us what exactly within the AI prompt did you put in?
Well, that's where it even gets funny, because there's a title, and it was, I just typed in Marvel, or no, actually I typed in MCU, and then it came up with epic battles as the finishing of the title. So I chose that. And then it did everything else.
Boy, howdy, did it ever. Wow. Did it choose that voice?
Which I wonder if it had anything to do with the fact that Steamboat Willie is now free use. I'm like, Mickey Mouse. Oh my goodness. I've seen it. Here's the problem. I've watched that video way more than I want to admit.
Wait,
you saw me when we were muted, like just rolling in my chair. I absolutely love this. And I wanted so badly to show this to like everybody in the team, but I didn't want to ruin it. And it is still glory. It's so bad. It's like those AI generated stories. It's just perfect.
It was amazing and terrible all at once. My favorite, so the pregnant lady was one. I loved the caption of the slide with trending, and then clearly a bunch of people on like mobile devices and everything that looked more like, this is business in action. But then what in the hell did engine repair have to do with anything?
Because it used the term high octane later on. I think it was preemptively getting us like revved up.
Man, and then one other thing AI really needs to learn is the way to do a nice subtle closeout, not just we're done.
It's like it gave up. It just gave up.
I know the feeling now. Oh, that was terrible.
That's where we're at. Welcome to the generation of AI. No, but that's great. And think about the stuff we can do now, like zombie rom-com. Like I'm gonna put in such random crap into this generator. This is gonna be its own thing. Like it's gonna be absolute.
Here's what you do, if you don't mind my telling you how to do your show.
Oh,
you solicit from the audience. Just give me 3 sci-fi topics to mash up for this, and that way that's what you enter in.
We should do like an AI Mad Libs.
There you go.
Yes, Tom got it. Digital. It's like digital Mad Libs. Absolutely. This is better. Let it do its thing. Let it have fun. I hope they never improve it because it's perfect just the way it is right now. I don't want anything more in my life. It's sad because the AI does really well with a lot of things. Especially like the social media generators and stuff. But
does it really? Because
I will say, there are social media like apps where you can like post something to everything, and you can pay credits to actually have AI like generate a caption based off of what you're posting, but it'll ask you for like a couple sentences about what it is, and it gives a really good summary for it, and it will actually look up the name of whoever you put in the thing. I tested it a couple times and then accidentally deleted it all and lost the credits, but I don't want anything more from AI. That's all I need. That's all I need in that voice, preferably. But
man, from the minute that came on, I'm like, why is Grover yelling at me?
Grover, I'm like, it's Mickey Mouse. It's Steamboat Willie.
No, that was like some Muppet ate Steamboat Willie, and that's what resulted in their throat. I don't know.
That's like me trying to do the voice. Like, no, it's oh man, I'm good.
It's such an interesting culmination of choices. Well, I mean, the reason we knew AI is still not at the point where we'd be able to take our jobs, because like even recently in the news, I think there was a let's not get into names, but there was a lawyer who like submitted an argument and asked AI to assist in the process, and when it couldn't find cases to back up the argument, it created them. So yeah, I think we're good. But it's interesting to see the way it is creeping up almost everywhere now. I can't remember what I was using, but instantly there was an AI suggestion that said, hey, I really think what you're looking for is this. And I said, no, it isn't. Mind your business, AI, please. Mind you, I've got like 20 different Alexa devices sitting around me right now, so I shouldn't.
Oh, no, I absolutely do too. Like, that was a great part about when I actually streamed on Twitch for a while. I had some people that would watch with the audio playing in the room, and I would tell their devices to order certain things just for the fun of it. Or I think there was one time where I had one mutual. I think he would give me gifts and stuff, so we were cool doing this. But like I'd be on the live, and he'd be like, "I'm in the grocery store right now," and I would just be like, "Don't forget your hemorrhoid cream or something else," like really loud. And I just remember getting like all of a sudden my drops, the number of viewers dropped, and I get a private message like, that wasn't cool, man. So,
I had that happen on something else. I think I was Sadly, I think I was scrolling TikTok and somebody made an announcement, or actually it was a commercial for something. And typically,
Mhm.
I believe there's like a submission portal where you can say, look, I'm submitting a commercial and it is going to make reference to this. So it'll help the smart device ignore the command. And I don't think they did it because instantly it fired off. And I'm like, you be quiet and don't listen to this person. Anyway, neither here nor there. Why are we really here, Tony?
Absolutely. Well, the reason why we're here tonight is because of what we were saying. We're going to try something new. And again, we need you viewers to stick with us and participate, because in a little bit, we're going to have a QR code that you will actually have to vote to see which one of us is right. And the question is going to be this.
Tony's so
which
going to win
is
this.
the best? What?
You're so going to win this.
What is the best movie that is the worst book adaptation? What is the best movie that is the worst book adaptation? And I want to just clarify that means we're looking for a really good movie that compared to its book, it's terrible. Like it's night and day. It's like a complete, like you wonder how the author even signed off. And for both of these movies that we're going to talk about, the authors both signed off on these movies being drastically different than the books. That's the worst part about it, I think.
Well, and the other interesting part, if I may, is that we are dealing with movies directed by the same director as well.
Yes.
Coincidence. Because for everyone that wants to know, there was a side channel on Discord where we were discussing this, and instantly when the idea came up, oh no, that was a chat. Anyway, it doesn't matter. Instantly when the idea came up, we both defaulted to the exact same movies. We both thought the exact same ones, which just shocks the heck out of me.
Well,
but not at the same time.
So let me not
although
related to the ones that we,
although I will say, I think one of them we defaulted just on it. It just came up because of bad adaptation. Honestly speaking.
Yes. So this was a hard one because one of the things is you have to make sure that you've read the books and watched the movies, which we both have done that for both of them. And we're counting audiobooks if anybody, wants to do, like, we're going to have a rotating, like, I could see this being its own thing. This, Cinema Smackdown, and us doing this down the future with rotating guests, and doing it. Like, I even was telling my wife, I'm like, I'd love to get like a referee shirt and be the moderator for the Smackdown and have different guests going at it. But what we need you guys to do is when the QR code comes up, you're going to vote on which is the best adaptation. But we're going to wait until we do the introduction for that. But to give you an idea, when we talk about book adaptations that are terrible, these are just a list of movies that are not, these are not what we're talking about tonight. We're only talking about 2 movies. But like, if you were to watch the movie Aragon, first of all, the movie Aragon is terrible in its own right.
Yeah, which is why it's not one of the ones we're doing.
But it's also a terrible book adaptation.
Horrible.
Like it's nothing like the book. Like even
not at all.
Like you talk about nerfing characters. Like they absolutely nerfed those characters in that thing. I would per se say another contender for this that we didn't bring up would have been the Hobbit trilogy, because it's more so a lot of the stuff from the Hobbit trilogy, though there's a lot of like accuracy, they throw a lot of stuff in from other books or like, unfinished works like the Silmarillion and things like that. So I would put that in this category. Or even like if you think about The Shining with Stephen King, very different book. Stephen King hated the movie. So, but Shining is a classic.
Yes.
And of course, we know that Stephen King hated the movie because of the movie that this guy's gonna be talking about. But anyway, without further ado, let's go ahead and get into the very first.
Drop the title card.
I feel so bad for Rich because Rich is like trying to keep up with me and I'm doing stuff and he's just so Rich, you're doing an amazing job. Thank you for everything you do.
Dang life, by the way.
We got the guy in the chair.
And by the way, let's sorry, we just got a message. Rich
I thought Tony froze.
Because you're all, well, I wasn't moving, and then you're like, So first of all, before I just want to put this out there. First of all, everybody, yes, this is not, I would say, an original idea, but this is a different take because we're not going with specifically movies that are going head to head, but we take a concept of for movies and then apply it and then attempt to win our case. So because there have been other podcasts that have done this type of thing, and this is a unique spin, at least in my opinion. All that said is a disclaimer: don't come at us. So first of all, let's just talk about my movie. And I'm not going to say now why I'm going to lose, but I know I'm going to lose. You're going to find that out the moment Tony starts talking. But a movie that is a good movie, but a terrible book adaptation, actually, in my opinion, is Ready Player One. And part of the reason why I can tell you this is a good movie is because the first time I saw the adaptation on screen, I was infuriated. I was so mad. I was like, I can't believe it. That was terrible. What the heck? This didn't do anything for me. But then when it came to home video, I watched it again. And I think maybe, just maybe, it may be that it was a matter of something I needed to see more than once. Okay. But when it comes to Ready Player One, the reason why I think it is a good movie that is a horrible book adaptation, first of all, is because it completely deviates from, other than the base concept, all of the contextual subject matter. For those that aren't aware, Ready Player One is a story about a time in the future where virtual reality is a part of, so much a part of life. I think it's more life than it's more about life than real life is, if you will. And in there, the sole owner of the company that is the platform of the greatest VR company ever passes away. And he is going to give ownership of the company to the person that finds the 3 Easter eggs that he has placed within it because he was a big fan of old games. And if you've read the book, you would know that this is a massive 80s cult classic kind of jammed into a movie. It has a lot of 80 references, which is great for me because that's when I grew up. A lot of 80s music. You know, it's really definitely, as the kids would say, a vibe. And the reason why I say it is a good movie, and because everyone is going like, how are you going to defend it? It has extreme rewatchability. How do I know this? It is one of the movies my kid will request, my 9-year-old will request to watch when it comes time to put on a movie, like just randomly. It's like, you want to watch a movie? Sure. What do you want to watch? If I put on Ready Player One, she will cheer. Okay. So it's definitely a good movie in that respect. It's also a movie, like I said, I can rewatch it time and time again. My daughter can rewatch it time and time again. It's something we can watch together, and we both get the same level of enjoyment out of it. And even though it completely deviates from all of the challenges, almost all of the subject matter, it is, in my opinion, an excellent movie. The reason why, it has a lot of things that we are facing right now. The VR world is one where the struggle in the book and in the movie is that there is a major corporation, IOI, that is also attempting to win this challenge so that they can then exploit the platform. Like in the movie, there's a moment where the character says that research tells us we can occupy 70% of the visual space without inducing seizures for advertisements, which is a great line in my opinion. But the movie also has good undertones where it's telling us about, one, being too invested in virtual reality or onlineness or the like, and we need to take a break, touch grass, if you will, and get out there. It has statements about corporate greed, like I mentioned about the exploiting of corporations, not really caring about the little guy, just looking to use us as a source of income, you know, like cattle that drives income for them. And you know, the scariness of corporate greed. And, you know, honestly speaking, I think the concept of the movie, as well, the concept of it as a book, it would have been very difficult to tell this story in one movie if you did a straight adaptation of the book. And also, admittedly, even though I really enjoyed the book, it has a lot of parts that drag on. Okay, I'm not gonna lie. It has a lot of elements in it where it's like, okay, I've got to get through this chapter to get to the next one, and then you find out, oh, that was cool. But when it comes to the movie itself as an adaptation of the book, really, the only thing it really has are the characters. It has one moment that's very similar when there's the confrontation between our antagonist and our protagonist,
Mhm.
and the destruction of some property. But other than that, nothing. Well, I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
because at that point, when the destruction of property happens
Mhm.
in the book, it's like years later or months, like it's at least a year, I think, from when that destruction happens to him actually making moves against IOI, which was
Right.
what was really funny to me.
Yeah, and that's definitely not something you can do within a 2-hour movie.
Yeah.
And honestly speaking, I feel that this movie also did a really good job about not really trying to worry about mixing worlds. So in other words, we don't spend a lot of time seeing the title character running on his VR treadmill or wearing glasses. When they're in the VR world, they are in the VR world. And when they are in reality, they're in reality. There's not really that much of a mix. And honestly, rewatchability, an adaptation of a very popular book. Will it ever be sequelized? Highly doubt it. And I think Spielberg did a very good job with this. The movie itself has a great cast, and anything Simon Pegg is in, I'm going to be watching it no matter what.
Yeah.
And honestly speaking, I thought it was an enjoyable film. Once I took the book out of my lexicon when I was watching the movie, rewatching the movie, I thoroughly enjoyed it.
Yeah.
So that's
And
that's
listen,
that's
I'm not gonna,
kind of my argument for it. There's really not much else to back it up because, man, it's a deviation. And honestly speaking, too, the movie has its faults. I'm not going to lie. There are uh, the three challenges in the movie are very centralized for people, or in the book, that are very centralized for people that grew up in the 80s because it's all about 80s video games. The challenges really kind of focus on those. They made some interesting creative choices when they did the movie, but it makes sense because they were looking more for visual spectacle than anything else. And they made some interesting connections. So that way it made more sense that there were some real world, well, not virtual, well, there were some clues to where the Easter eggs are that people could find and follow. And just like in the book, the first discovery is almost as obscure for the first challenge in the movie as it is in the book. So in that regards, a nice connection. But other than that, it really, other than the base idea, it has almost no connection to the book whatsoever and the
yeah,
characters.
even
That's
even
it.
to the point of where it kind of showed Artemis and Parzival being the ones that found, the keys, which were not really much of a thing in the book. I mean, like they really simplified a lot of the concepts, and I think they also missed some opportunities because I think my favorite part of the book with this movie, that they never did, which I'll be honest with you, I watched the movie first. I had the book, I just hadn't read it. I got it in a Loot Crate exclusive. Like it was in the box. I had it. It was like in the bathroom, like sitting for
Mhm.
me. Like I gotta read this every time I was in there, and like I should pick this up. And then I watched the movie, and then I was like, okay, let's do it. And I picked it up, and I was reading it, and then I kind of did a mix of reading the book and listening to the audiobook because I just didn't have time with commuting. And the part where after an Easter egg was found, or right when they like found the gate or the door, and they went in, and like for the most part, there was where the characters had to do a word, like a word for word, action for action playthrough of like his favorite movies,
Mhm.
like war games, like where he walks into the arcade and like he realizes he's Matthew Broderick.
Mhm.
He's a character in war games, and and the game won't progress. And he got points, and he would make points for it was almost kind of like a DDR, like Dance Dance type thing, where but you had to actually act out as the character. And if you missed a phrase or missed a word, it would help you, but you would lose points. And the whole idea was you had to get a certain number of points to be able to progress on. I thought that was great. And then where his friends are off trying to find the gate, he ended up in this arcade that had nothing to do with anything, and that's where he found the extra life. That's where he found the coin.
Mhm.
Um, and it was like things like that where you realize that this thing was really big. And honestly, the book was hard to get through at the beginning because the fact that he was stuck on the school like portal area for a really long time before Parzival was not, he didn't have the DeLorean, he didn't have, you know, ways to go. Yeah, he knew all of the characters, but you know, that was from you know, from school, and he was trapped on school because he couldn't afford to go to these other places, the other lands. But it was very interesting.
Well, and here's the other reason why the movie is an amazing, it is a terrible adaptation of the book, but an amazing movie in itself. It has so many pop culture representations within the film. Like, I don't even understand how they got away with including Batman, because if I'm not mistaken, oh no, wait a minute, no, this wasn't.
There's a lot of, it was Warner Brothers.
Yeah, that's the reason why. But they did a great job of bringing in as much IP as they could. Like, literally, you could be a character, you could be, you know, you could be Superman, you could be, what was one of the bizarre ones? Oh, Marvin the Martian. You know, and this movie is just jam-packed with it, especially the final battle scene. Because where else are you gonna get a Gundam attacking Mecha Godzilla kind of thing? And honestly speaking, like, one of the things that I came away from this movie not liking the first time I saw it, when I was already like, this is bullcrap, it's not like the book at all. Originally, when Parzival is making his big rallying cry to all the citizens of the Oasis, and he's saying, you know, we have to stand up to IOI, they're about to take us down, you know, we have to get together and fight. Yeah, there's going to be sacrifice, but we have to do this to save our world, essentially. The first time I saw it, it didn't affect me at all. I was like, that was the most lackluster thing ever to try and get people together. Rewatching it without it hang up on my mind, boom. But seriously, seeing all the things like you mentioned, a hybrid version of the DeLorean from Back to the Future, which is a Universal property, which is the reason why they also threw in Knight Rider's little moving light on the front of it, because now they've changed it a little bit, they can get away with it. And plus, I'm sure Universal was not going to come at Steven Spielberg. It, in my opinion, a really enjoyable movie. And like you mentioned, there are some things in the book that there was just no way, licensing wise and the like, they were going to be able to put up on the big screen. So I think, given the fact that the book was extremely popular, and given the fact that there was no way we were going to get some of the things we saw in the book, I think they made some really, really good choices to make the movie as appealing to as many people as they could.
And that's fine. That's perfectly fine. I agree with you. It is a great film. It's a terrible adaptation. It's a good contender. But unfortunately, let me just move my camera a little bit more. There is a better contender out there. And that happens to be the Jurassic Park franchise. Well, let me correct that.
No, I wouldn't go with the franchise, bro.
Yeah, I got a little presumptive there. The Jurassic Park movie, 1993, Steven Spielberg, Amblin Entertainment, with Universal Studios. We got one of the best movies that is a terrible book adaptation. Now, let me go ahead and just go into that category. And since I've already declared it, and most people would already agree with me because I already saw the word Jurassic Park put in the chats, let's go ahead and just throw the QR code for the voting. We'll just let the voting.
Hey, no, wait, hold on, buddy, hold on, okay? Because I'm talking about a movie that has got all the characters we love. It's jam-packed with nostalgia. Okay, you're talking about a movie that's a bad book adaptation and just leans on the crutch of virtual dinosaurs.
Let me just explain. First of all, not only was Jurassic Park a groundbreaking film with Industrial Light and Magic, the Stan Winston studio, the things that they did, merging not only puppeteering, and at the time the movie was going to use stop motion animation, but in the process, Industrial Light and Magic sat down with Steven Spielberg and said, you know, we have an idea, we have something that would make this look better. And so they showed this to them, but to not disrespect the stop motion team, they actually created robots, which, if you think about it in the sense of pioneering CGI, that was the same, that concept was similarly used in things like Avatar, Polar Express and stuff down the road, where you had reference tools, but they actually used small robotic dinosaurs so that the stop motion animation guys did not lose their job, but were just they were able to merge into some new form of art medium. And it was really funny because the head, I can't remember his name at the time, who was in charge of the stop motion animation, Steven Spielberg did not want to just throw him off or anything else like that. What he did was he brought him in to a meeting and said, "Hey, I want to show you something that ILM just sent me." And he showed him the footage of the T-Rex walking in the grasslands. And the guy was very quiet, and Steven Spielberg goes, "What do you think?" And he turns to Steven Spielberg and he says, "I think I'm extinct." And that very same phrase was used when Alan Grant was walking up the stairs, and he goes, "I think we're out of a job." And Ian Malcolm looks at him and says, "Don't you mean extinct?" That was a literal reference to that interaction with them. But again, fantastic, puppetry, robotic, these things were not designed to go through some of the stress that they did. Just the T-Rex scene, if we could throw that image of the T-Rex looking at Alan Grant in the rain, that scene in itself, that robot had to went through here, I'll pull it up here. Not this one. Okay. That is a robot. And that robot was wearing what was like wearing foam latex, which was absolutely absorbing all of the water from that rain, because this was all artificial rain. And the robot was stuttering. Like at certain points, they could only get it at 15 minutes at a time, and then the robot would start shaking because it couldn't handle the weight of the rain. And so they'd have to turn the rain off, stop everything, get everything reset, and they would be patting the thing down with towels and everything else. Just everything about this film was well done. Now, why is this the best movie? Because we're not talking about the best production. We're not talking about the best in the industry. But what happens is
sexy Jeff Goldblum. This is the reason why I knew I was going to lose.
Hold on just a second here.
See, and while you're stalling, I'm just going to say, man, it was totally unfair that I chose Ready Player One, because when I found out I was up against Jurassic Park, I will concede that it is probably a vastly superior movie, because again, this one,
okay, everybody try it now, so you can get in.
Okay, mine relies on nostalgia. Mine relies on a lot of, like, hey, I loved this as a kid. Now I get to see it as an adult. But yours is honestly speaking, that movie is timeless. It ages so well because of the excellent blend of practical visual effects and CG that I still feel holds up. It is CG that does not still look like CG. They didn't spare any expense.
I like that,
to get it done. And you can tell because it's always there on the screen.
There are a lot of things I think that this movie did extremely well. Now let's talk about the adaptations that are messed up. First of all, John Hammond was a monster in the book. He did not care about the injured individuals. He did not care about what was happening to the people that were, at the park. He wasn't really even a great grandfather in the story. John Hammond meets an untimely end by a hill, a sprained ankle, and some compies.
Yeah.
The dinosaurs were much more menacing in the book. If they would have done a 1-to-1 adaptation, the movie would have been a whole lot longer. It probably could have been at least 2 movies, maybe 3. And the dinosaurs were more visceral. It was much more gory, and it was also a much scary. I mean, dinosaurs loose on an island where a bunch of people are, and the people are hopeless because there's no power, there's no real weapons or anything they can protect themselves because they're all scattered across. That's bad enough. But the movie starts off with dinosaurs already off of the island and on the mainland. There's a little girl that they actually reference this in the second movie, but they still water it down in the second movie. where there's a family off the coast of Costa Rica.
Mhm.
They're having a meal, and the little girl gets attacked by compies.
Mhm.
Even the end of the book, there are raptors that got on the boat that was helping people get off of the island because of the storm. The raptors get on the boat, hide, and are able to get off on mainland. And it's discovered that they're eating chickens because, remember, the lysine deficiency. They're not able to produce their own lysine. So the raptors figured out that if they eat the chickens who were eating the soybeans on the mainland, they could survive.
Mhm.
And so, I mean, just how menacing. I mean, we don't get a dinosaur off of the island until the second movie,
Yeah.
which doesn't really, which is fine. But
Which by the way, can we just mention as well? I really feel like the lysine deficiency was a much better mechanic for controlling the animals rather than, oh, we've just genetically encoded them not to reproduce. Because at least then you're like, if the island goes to pure hell, you get any lysine sources out of there and the entire thing can just be reset. You know what I mean? But in this
now
case,
they mentioned the lysine deficiency in the second movie.
mhm.
So it is mentioned, but it's not even a big thing.
I think I blocked it out because it was so not the book.
Also, Wu, who we find out later in the Jurassic World movies is a bad guy. He's automatically an antagonist in the first movie. Like, he's on the island with everyone else, and he's a crazy scientist. The Lex and Tim dynamic, they're switched. Lex was the younger of the two, but them switching actually was a good thing because it made them both participate. A participant in the movie.
Mhm.
That you had the raptors were more visceral, and there were more raptors to the point of where one of the kids threw a baby raptor at two adults that were attacking to distract them, but didn't realize they were just going to sit there and start eating the baby. Like, there was a lot of different things, and let's not even get to the point of like the two T-Rexes. The juvenile T-Rex was by far my favorite character in the books, and the
Mhm.
T-Rex chasing them down the river and them ending up in the pterodon enclosure and being attacked in the river was one of the most if go back, and if you can find the Jurassic Park audiobook, however they do, because they put music with it and everything, it is terrifying to hear that being even narrated. But it's one of my favorite scenes, and unfortunately, the best we got it in Jurassic Park 3, and it was nothing like it was supposed to be.
Another movie that I've completely blacked out.
Yeah.
That was the one where somebody talked Grant into going back.
Yes.
right?
They fooled it.
Okay.
Yeah, that's the one where it made me start hating Nokia phones.
Fair enough.
But by far,
Was it the second one or the third one where they basically unleash a T-Rex on San Diego?
that was the second one. That was the one with Vince Vaughn in
Okay.
it. Which again, another thing, Vince
Gotcha.
Vaughn in the Jurassic Park franchise, like it worked for that one, and then I couldn't stand watching him in anything else for a while. But yeah, and even in the books. Okay, so here's an interesting thing. In the Jurassic Park book, Ian Malcolm died.
Mm-hmm.
But in Jurassic World, Michael Crichton, he rewrote it, or he retconned it that he didn't actually die, that they thought he died. Because he's actually the main protagonist in the second book. And they're dealing with like ultra camouflage stealth Carnotauruses that are coming after them, and like they didn't get any of that. It was sad. But that one I like hold on, Hopskeek Maddie. That one ringtone will forever be associated with Jurassic Park. And it's terrible because it doesn't bring fear. It doesn't bring fear in my mind at all. I don't worry about a Spinosaurus. I worry that I have to hear that sound and think about that movie. And what's her name? Tia Leone? Was that who it is?
I don't know.
The mother in the third movie, I couldn't stand her. But we're not talking about that movie. Let me get back.
I mean, honestly speaking, Tony, I want to argue for why yours is better. Because again, Ready Player One, I think, just because it has a lot of reviewability for me and my daughter doesn't mean it does for the rest of the world. But if let's say it's late at night and you're doing a stream where you're building Legos or you're putting light kits in your Legos, it's a good movie to have on in the background. Because it's got a lot of stuff. So much so that when the Zemeckis cube is used, you literally get elements of Back to the Future's music. I'm getting goosebumps just thinking about that. Look at that. See, this is why Ready Player One is a great movie.
Listen, I'm not saying it's not a great movie. It's just not the best movie. It's not better than Jurassic Park. One of the things that I found was amazing was I'm a big movie. I've got the Laserdisc. I've got the DVDs and Blu-rays. I even have the 3D version of Jurassic Park. And a lot of times when you think of 3D versions, it's like it's hyper layered. It's not really good or it's really wonky. Steven Spielberg actually went back and worked on it, and what they realized was the way they filmed Jurassic Park was that it was perfectly designed to be a 3D movie. And if you have not watched Jurassic Park as a 3D movie, it is, listen, I have worn out the VHS. I've had to buy multiple versions of the DVD of Jurassic Park because I've worn those out and they've scratched and skipped and everything else. I have multiple versions of the Blu-ray. I have the 4K version, but that 3D version made me a kid again when I watched it because of the depth of the rain.
Yeah, and especially they did a lot of layering in those CG visual effects. So
when the raptor jumps up into the duck to bite at Lex, you jump back. Like it's a perfect film. It's also a perfect 3D film.
I really feel like I should pull it up and just vote for you now. I voted for myself, so I at least got one.
But make sure you guys, if you're voting, there's not a lot of voting going on. We are kind of tied right now, which I thought was kind of surprising. So go ahead and throw that. You vote early, vote often. There's plenty of time to do so. What do you think is the best? Is it Jurassic Park or is it Ready Player One? I'll be honest with you. After reading the book, though, I still enjoy watching Ready Player One, but I typically only put it on now as as a background thing or as something to go to sleep.
Here's the other thing. Here's the other thing too, that definitely tells you which one of these two is the better movie. Okay. I can do this and you will know exactly what I'm talking about. Clever Girl. Right?
Oh, yeah.
You know what I'm doing. You know what I'm saying. You know where it's from.
Or Hold On to Your Butts.
Yeah, there you go. You
forgot to say the magic word.
But have you heard anyone quote Ready Player One at all in the last decade? No. Not a one.
Well, okay. I will give this. A couple years ago for my birthday, you know about this. I did an Easter egg hunt through my TikTok. And so that was kind of inspired from Ready Player One. And I want to do that again. I think the concept of there being these hidden Easter eggs down the road, even now when I do videos, I do them with the thought of like, if I want to use this as an Easter egg down the road, I want to make sure I add something to it. It made me think about a bigger picture, but I can tell you right now, this movie, I'm a Marvel creator on TikTok. And you can tell I've got a lot of Marvel stuff, but the chokehold, and it's timeless because right now I have a couple Jurassic Park things that are down here. I have a kid who has a room full of Jurassic Park dinosaurs, and the joy that I got when they brought out the Legacy series, where as a kid I collected all the dinosaurs. I had every single Jurassic Park toy. And I wished they would have made a brachiosaur so that you could have that scene with it eating from the tree. And it's like we collect the T-Rex at 30 miles an hour or whatever it was. and like he's getting woozy, and you see the brachiosaur bite from the tree. They made that, and I was super excited. My kid and I, we loved like just geeking out over the dinosaurs, and I think that's where they win. Games and stuff can be nostalgic, and you can enjoy those things. And of course, we have this. Oh, look, it's the guy from Fortnite. But when it comes down to dinosaurs
His
and
name
adventure,
is Jonesy.
it
Show
has
some respect.
elements of Indiana Jones. It has elements of just some of your favorite epic films, because it takes you into a fantastical destination, and you can just geek out about dinosaurs and jump and be scared of them and think about brachiosaurs as giant cows and them sneezing on you. And people can argue over how in the world did the T-Rex walk out of the paddock and then all of a sudden throw a Jeep down a gully that didn't seem to exist.
Wasn't there a minute ago?
There are people who have gone and done one for one there is a game. It's not even really a game. It's literally just a simulation of Jurassic Park. It is literally, if you watch it with the movie, you drive in the Jeep, you can actually go the roads and go through the gates that they go through in the movie. And when you get to the T-Rex paddock, there is this flat land where the T-Rex comes out. You can see where the goat was. And then there's a gully just like 15 feet or 15 yards away from where the T-Rex came out. That it makes perfect sense, because it's the boundary, like you see with like think of Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom, I think it was, when you see the T-Rex going through the zoo and there's this gully between him and the lion.
Mhm.
There's a moat to prevent the T-Rex from going over to the next paddock that's just over this tunnel. So
That makes sense.
no, it's like literally like the lore is fantastic and fantastical. And it's one of those things where the book is better, but the movie's still enjoyable, and you can see where they took aspects of the book and they put it into the other films. And I'm telling you right now, Jurassic Park, this is an easy one. This was a low impact episode for me. I do apologize for Will. We were gonna flip a coin. I just told him I'm taking Jurassic Park. I wanted to automatically win. So yeah, you have
Now I
any
gotta figure out how to rig the voting. Hold on.
yeah. So any thoughts real quick before we wrap up, because we're getting close to the hour, and I think I've talked enough about Jurassic Park.
Honestly speaking, I think it would be a good time to kind of talk about how we've received a bevy of interesting fandom news lately. Specifically meaning like we've had some things pop up, like the fact that it's kind of seeming like even if given the opportunity, we probably wouldn't get Margot Robbie again as a Harley Quinn. Seems that she has decided that, she always viewed this as a role that could be handed on similar to Batman and everything else. So I thought that was interesting. But more importantly, too, I think is the great news to hear that James Gunn is actively working on Peacemaker 2 as he prepares for Superman Legacy. So we definitely are still going to get Peacemaker. I said Peacemaker 2, but I mean the second series of Peacemaker. So I really look forward to that, because that was one of those things that it was a funny character in Suicide Squad. The television show was amazingly entertaining, yet dark and depressing at the same time. So, that's what I would say. But, in regards to this, I know I lost. I know it. It's okay. I'm okay.
Well, I'm seeing a scan going on.
That wasn't me. I'm not cheating.
No, it's fine, because I'd only let you do it once. I was going to let it do it multiple times.
Well, that's what you think. But is it tied to IP? I bet you I could figure this out. Give me a second. I'm a tech guy. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Let me just. This is unprecedented.
It's unprecedented. It's 2016 all over again, man.
I did my one vote, because of course I'm going to vote for myself. Will voted for himself. We're tied.
Yeah, not very long here, let me tell you, my friend. No, I'm not going to cheat. Well, there you go. Well, that's the way we should go out. This was the first experiment. We were the litmus test for this to see, okay, well, what works, what doesn't, what should we do with the structure later? What should we do? You know what I mean? So it's like, how do we build this? What do we do in the future for it? So that's good. It's good that we may end on a tie. But then again, Tony, if you think about it, this thing will reside forever. So it's almost kind of like, well, it looks like we're tied now, but in the long run, by the time next time Fandoms was on, we're ready to announce the winner. And if you watched last time, ding, 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 boom.
I was kind of hoping to like say I won on this episode, like wrap it up now, but we can definitely do that. And I think this will be more fun, especially if I can ref it. I think when we do it in the future, we'll have it at the beginning where the QR code is automatically there. We'll pit it. I didn't announce what the movies were for the sake of Will, because I think Will felt like he was going to lose automatically.
I mean,
he's like, literally, guys, if you want to know, Will goes, listen, just don't announce, don't promote what the movies are, because it'll be over.
No, that wasn't even it. I said, don't mention your movie. I said, don't mention yours, because that's it. People are going to be like, Jurassic Park, oh, that's a classic. All the other movies may have been what they were, but Jurassic Park, come on now. Because seriously, after that movie came out, people saw it and they were amazed. They were like, there is an island somewhere, dinosaurs are on it.
Baking bread for people to get their votes is cheating. I'm just
it's not, man. No, it's not.
Say it.
No, it's not. The bread's got to go somewhere when I bake it, my friend. Because one of the things I got for Christmas was a new cast iron bread oven.
Are we doing briberies? Or is that what we're doing here? Or is it literally?
Look, man, can't you be happy with a tie? You know, at least it's not like 2020. And I'm like, you know what? All indications were we were winning. And as a matter of fact, I think I did win.
I wasn't going to vote. Then when I found out that you voted, I had to vote.
I only did that to make sure I had one vote, man.
You got more than one. So
I got two. Yahoo. Yeah, I think this is an excellent idea. I am honored to have been a part of the first iteration of it. And I really feel that this is something that if you can come up with good enough themes, it probably could be carried as its own show.
That's what I'm thinking. Yes.
The only thing I think that would be better too is definitely the audience being involved in kind of coming up with the topics as well.
Yes.
Because it's important not to say it's this movie against that movie. It's more important to say in this theme, we're looking at this movie versus that movie.
So here's my challenge for those of you who are watching, whether you're watching it live with us or you're going to be watching it later on. I'm going to leave the voting open. So this QR code is going to be active until the next Fandoms. And we're going to decide from there who wins. And maybe we'll even 3D print some little thumbs up, like winner's belt or something for your thumb. I don't know, something small and easy to mail. And so, or I'll just send you the 3D print file and you can print it yourself.
Yeah, good.
Save on postage.
Yes, I could.
But yeah, we'll keep it live, so you can definitely continue to vote on this even as this show is over. So next show is going to be the 19th of January. So on that day, if we will close voting at noon on the 19th with noon Eastern time. Just to people. Well, no, we'll be nice to those West Coast people, those poor unfortunate souls. And we, because you're behind. Yeah, like I'm living in the future, you're living in the past. I mean, it's just how it is. But we'll have it run until 3:00 Eastern time, noon Pacific Standard. So you'll have time to go ahead and to vote. We'll announce the winner on the next episode, and then we will work on doing this as its own thing. I already know I've got some people in our initiative that want to be a part of this. I'm also looking to possibly bring some guests on to participate, because I think that would be a lot of fun just to argue what movies are better. And then and we'll listen, we're all about being positive in our initiative. I think this is one of the time where you can trash talk something, just for the sake of the fun of it. I think so. And so if you have any suggestions for categories, I want to make them wonky. I don't want to be like best superhero film, go. Like I want it to be something weird, like the best worst superhero film, or what is the best worst trilogy, or something like that. Like I would love to have some type of horseshoe to make it a little bit more difficult to kind of figure out what the movie is that someone would pick. And so if you have suggestions, leave them in the comments of this video. Also, if you have some ideas for our generative AI, for possible other news segments that we could listen to at Butcher, for more reasons why AI will never take our jobs, put those in there too. We'll be watching the comments. And with that said, just a couple things to remember. You can fill out the contact us to be part of our newsletter. Also to get more nerd information about Nerd Initiative. There are also some wonderful things that you can follow through with. First one I'm going to do because of our guy in the chair now I got Wrestling Night Live. Yes, thank you. Nerd Initiative's Wrestling Night Live. You can find it every Thursday night at 8 p.m. And also be mindful to watch out for our socials. And also you can follow Rich because he will be doing announcements of other shows that will happen, whether it's a pre-show or a post-show for the pay-per-views, whatever it is. He is a workhorse and is doing a lot of different things. So be sure to check out Rich and what he's doing. Doing a fantastic job. Also for Turn a Page is every Tuesday night. We just had the Cheersies last week. And so that was a great episode. A lot of great creators and great comics and publishing companies that were recognized. And we look forward to seeing stuff like that. And also just remember about New Comic Book Day every Wednesday on the Nerd Initiative website. You can get your information, the scoop of what's new, what reviews are going on, and what to read, because there's a lot of great stuff coming out, not only in the mainstream sections with like DC, Marvel, IDW, or Boom Comics, but also a lot of things like Distillery, Ghost Machine, a lot of great comics that are coming out or have been coming out, that if you don't know, you could miss out and miss an opportunity for some great original stories that set up their own worlds. And then one last thing, if we can throw back the Wrestling Night Live QR code on there, make sure you not only do you follow Rich for this, and follow Wrestling Night Live for this, but also know there are the Brodies. I don't know if you have a QR code on here for the Brodies, but the Wrestling Awards, I believe it's still open now. You could definitely vote for that. You can find more information on that. And there is a link on the Nerd Initiative website. So if you go to nerdinitiative.com, you will see a link at the top of the page for the Brodies. Voting is until January 15th. But with that said, this has been, I've had fun. Will, have you had fun?
Of course I did.
Oh,
How
yeah.
could I not?
And to keep the lights on, don't forget to check out the Nerd Initiative merchandise. The merch store, I cannot believe. Rich, thank you for saving me. I'm contractually obligated to talk about it. But with that said, we will see you guys on January 19th. Have a wonderful evening. And if you've enjoyed this, be sure to like, subscribe, and leave a comment in the video. We would love to see your thoughts and even suggestions of what we could do to make this better.
And you know what? Vote for Ready Player One just so we can crush Tony's dreams.
No.
Look at him looking at the poll really quick. Is there anything? Can I say I won?
No, it's still tied. It's probably a good way to go. I'm gonna go wake my wife up and tell her to vote. So
that's hard.